But the night time is coming here at Weston Park. Welcome back to Special Stage and welcome back to the historic Rally Festival. That was Will Nichols and Nick Broom coming through in a very fiery course car, showcasing the very latest World Rally Championship technology in that Rally 2 Fiesta. 2 our rally fans here who, despite this slightly inclement weather, but typical Lombard RAC stately home stage weather, are out in force. It's so busy here at Weston Park. There's live music going on behind us. There's a big rally car show with some fantastic cars, including some road-going Lancia Stratos. It's a plural for Stratuses. And we are back in action here with this, what has been, I know you agree, because we've been talking about it all day, haven't we, online? This amazing demonstration of rally cars from every single era. And kicking us off there once again is Ian Thomas with Gerald Wilby in the Austin Healey 3000 Mark II, the big Healey works replica of the BMC Healeys that rallied in the late 50s and early 60s. That's a 62 model. It's got the FIA papers, it's eligible for international historic rallies, and it does them. Previously competed in many historic rallies, it's got a number of Monte Carlo rally finishes to its name, that Austin Healey. Next up, should be Dan Gibson in the Clan Crusader, and there he is. Second place on the Manx in 72, winner of the Tour of Mull. And that's what a Clan Crusader looks like on a rally stage. I'm not quite sure how they're going to get on in the water splash, but they have got their snorkels, yes, really, at the ready. And that does sound good, doesn't it? One of only a few clans with the current Motorsport UK paperwork to be able to go rallying. And it looks and goes the part, as does that, in a very different kind of a way. Rafe Sambi, Sarwit Sambi in the first P1800S Volvo I think I've ever seen out rallying. And there's Miles Chamberlain in his Ford Cortina 1600E Mark II. A car that was rebuilt in 2009 to do the London to Sydney rally, which was unfortunately cancelled. So it did events in Iceland, France, Spain, and in recent years has been out on some of our MRF tyres, BTRDA Rally Championship and Welsh Rally Championship rounds that you would have seen live on special stage, as you do. The Mark II Cortina is known as the Banana, after Autocar nicknamed the car that after the 67 Scottish Rally, when Roger Clark jumped his Mark II Lotus Cortina so high that it bent in the middle on landing, visibly noticeable with the green Lotus stripe down the side. That car was actually written off. If only they knew what we know now, you'd have the Banana in your garage, wouldn't you? Big shout out to Charlie Collis, who's watching with Mum Julie and Dad Sam. Charlie was hoping to get to this weekend, wasn't able to. Hello to you if you're watching from home as well. There's Bob Beals, Mike Lefley in the VW 1500S notchback. He's been enjoying himself, just as Dustin Hoffman did when he starred in the US commercial for the notchback when it first came out in the mid-1960s, early 1960s, I should say. And there's James Hancock with Jason Henry Taylor alongside. 19-year-old James handed the key to that Mexico before this and told, if you want to do the historic rally festival, I can't, but you can use my car. There's a gesture. And of course he said yes, and look how much he's enjoying himself flying in that little Mark I Mexico. Do you know what? There's a lot of appreciation, both online, under the live stream, and from people I've spoken to about the work being done by Warner Lewis and his team here at the Historic Rally Festival. Neil Brighton, who does a lot of these events, you heard him talking at the end of our last live coverage, full of praise for the work that is being done here and how well this team have delivered this event so far. They've got it right from the centre out, if you ask me. There's Len Milner, Darrell Tucker, more used to doing demos in a Group B Audi Quattro, but here they are in the Ford Team Castrol livery. Good colour scheme as well, Mark II Escort. There's Ian and Caroline Hill in the Opel Manta. Big old car to be chucking around this stately home stage here at Weston Park. Shades of Lombard RAC Rally here, as we rekindle just a little bit of that magic that we all loved about these stages back in the day. This is stage 5. There's another stage live after this one, and we will have action from that. It's 2.65 miles, this one. First chance for the competitors to use the water splash. And we will bring you action from the water splash. Tim Ashton got it all wrong down at that hairpin in the little Lancia Fulvia, and there's Dave Harris getting it all right. Flat out, very, very sideways. I had a wander around this stage earlier, and it just reminded me why we all love the stately home stages so much. Although, talking to some of the drivers who did them in the World Championship, Stig Blomqvist, as I said, Elfyn Evans, Gwyndaf Evans, Howard Davies, Louise Aitken-Walker, they were kind of Mickey Mouse stages as far as the drivers were concerned. A lot to lose, not much to gain. But we loved them, didn't we? And we still do, and this is why. Look how slippery it is out there. Of course, if we ask Trevor Hancock later, he'll tell us he absolutely meant to do a donut on that hairpin down there. Let's see if he means to do one here as well. Look at that. Swinging that big old TR7 V8 around. There's a replica of one of the works cars from Abingdon. He's owned and competed in that car since 2015. And his dad used to work for Triumph on the Works Rally program back in the 70s. So there's a real family connection, and that is why there's a Triumph TR7 V8 in the family. Spotlights ablaze, those twin Sibbies on that Mark 1 Escort Mexico of Terry Watkins and Jason Pendry. This is atmospheric, isn't it? We like this. Wow. I've got a feeling this is going to be very quick tonight. And when those spotlights are dancing around in the sky here at Weston Park, it's going to be extremely atmospheric. And I only hope we can bring you a little bit of that atmosphere if you've not been able to get out here today to the historic Rally Festival, wherever you're watching from. Stuart Hicks and Rob Sykes in that RS 2000, the motorcraft car being hunted down by the second of our TR7 V8s of Gary G and Chris Cobill. Oh, you may recognise it was sold on the Bangers and Cash programme a little while ago, and there's the man who I mentioned earlier, Gwyndaf Evans, Stuart Horsfall alongside him. Of course, the British Rally champion in 1996, runner-up in 95, 98, 99 and 2010. And in the RAC Rally, Gwyndaf won the Group N production car class twice, driving a Ford Sierra RS Cosworth in 1990 and then later the Escort RS Cosworth in 1993. And we've got examples of both of those out this weekend. I wonder if Gwyndaf would prefer a Cossie to his Mark II this weekend. He certainly seems to be enjoying throwing that Mark II Escort around. I had a quick catch-up with him earlier on, and he's certainly enjoying himself being out here and entertaining the crowd. That is this man, Aladainen, with Lucy Gutteridge alongside in that road rally spec. Full Group 4 non-arched, all-steel dry sump Pinto engined Mark II Escort. You might be able to tell from the noise on the camera, we have an awful lot of rain to contend with this evening. And Craig Pendry and Fred Harris are having to contend with that rain on the stage as well. It's making things extremely slippery. And the Weston Park grass is definitely going to have shades of RAC Rally by the end of this weekend, isn't it, on the edges of these corners? But we're okay on that. The team here at Weston Park are really quite behind this. Really very passionate about it. Not hard to see why, because it is pulling in the crowds. Kevin Knight, Sam Weller, demonstrating what a Works Sunbeam might just have looked like when it was pivoting on those front wheels, steering from the rear in the Andrews Heat for Hire replica of Russell Brooks' iconic liveried Lotus Sunbeam. Derek Belbin and Charlotte Belbin are just about getting their heads around the fact they're on tarmac and not on a forest stage here. I think it must be as slippery as one out there at the moment. To remind you, we've got a ton of live coverage tomorrow from here at Weston Park. And we'll have the water splash, the famous water splash that everyone's talking about on tomorrow morning's coverage. We'll be live for stage 1 early doors, so make sure you tune in here at Special Stage, and I'll be donning my racing and jumping in that red Autoplas Metro 6R4 of Dan Elmore for the second stage tomorrow, stage 8. We're running through at the back of the field, and we'll be doing a bit of a feature on Special Stage that you'll be able to catch up with after this weekend's event. We're not going to do that bit live, for perhaps obvious reasons. Sean Clawley, John Shepherd, throwing that Talbot Sunbeam around just like the great late Russell Brooks did 8 years ago at the 2015 Race Retro event. First ever event was in that car for Sean Clawley 10 years ago, the Agbo stages. Came a very respectable 45th overall, 25th in class. Now I wonder if Arnaud Tourtoul is wishing he was on a French tarmac rally in his little French Mark 1 Fiesta, rather than enjoying the typically British weather here at Weston Park. He's really enjoying himself though. He moved over to the UK from France a few years ago and decided to bring that Fiesta with him, and actually since doing that he's competed in that car over here and loves the events over here, and has been enjoying the opportunity to demo something a little bit different to our spectators here at the historic Rally Festival. Third of our Sunbeams through the stage. Megan Barrett alongside, being chased down by that glorious tribute to the VW Motorsport Monte Carlo entered Mark 1 Volkswagen Golf GTI of Derek and Nick Wilkins. I think they are the pair that rallied demoed the Cars and Car Conversions GTM Coupe. I'm sure somebody will correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure that's them. On Rally Transmiria, as well as some other European events. And it's good to have that Stratus back out after the little indiscretion earlier when it went through a fence on the first stage of the day. Not much damage done, as you can see. Still looks glorious. John Rutter, Lorraine Nixon enjoying themselves in that car. Lorraine has been in quite a few of these demo events. Latterly, she was in the Lancia 037. And she does like these demo events. Tell you what, if you tuned in for the first time on one of these live streams and wonder what on earth is going on, because normally by this point of the day you see John and Jen Partridge in the X-Works Rover Mini Cooper, hunted down by, isn't that a sight to behold? Alan Watkins and Tim Bloxham in the X-Works ex-David Sutton Rothman's Escort in its Malcolm Wilson 1981 RAC livery. Normally by this point of the day we're running down results and leaderboards and giving you an idea of where things lie going into the second day of the rally. None of that, because it's not competitive, it's a demo. But I tell you what, we promised you great action, didn't we, earlier on? And I think we've delivered. Well, the guys and girls inside these rally cars have delivered, haven't they? Lots of sideways action, really putting these cars through their paces for your and our entertainment. And we hope you've enjoyed watching them from home. Just starting to get a bit darker now here at Weston Park, which is great, because that allows us to get the spot lamps switched on, flood this stately home stage with light, and get these rally cars dancing around under the stars. That's Robert Jones and Nick Archer in the Mark II Golf GTI, which I'm pleased to say sounds like it's running well now. Having a bit of an issue at the top hairpin though. I mean, that's where I saw Tom Hutchins and Steve Chamberlain. Oh, and Jason Lepley, who so far has won maximum style points, I think we can agree. I saw them on the way here, and I might just have told them that we're filming at the hairpins for this last 2 stages. We're going to move up to the hairpin for the last stage after this one, actually. And I just said to them, guys, you know what to do. Big old tug on that big lever in the middle. Get that back end around. Let's get some big skids out here for the last 2 stages with the spot lamps on. That's what we want to see. Yeah, we promised you some big action here, and we got it. It's been a remarkable day, actually. I wasn't quite sure what I'd make of this. I've obviously seen rally demonstrations. I've organised them at Cadwell Park before now, featuring some of the drivers and the cars that you see here today, and that's how actually I know some of the guys from rallying history, but I just wasn't sure what I'd make of it. And if you've tuned in today, I hope, like me, you've tuned in and gone, yeah, this is amazing. We need more of this. Walking down that lineup earlier with Group B after Group B after Group A, with the anti-lag popping and banging and the disc brakes sparking and glowing, and I'm assured that the Peugeot 205 T16 Turbo will be red and glowing with flames flying from the center exhaust pipe on these stages this evening, so that will be a sight to behold. But when I was stood there earlier looking at all of that, I just thought, with the spectators lining the spectator fences, this is what rallying needs. It really is. And I know that the team are working really hard to demonstrate to the local council what this event could be if it had just that little bit more imagination. And I think it's going to get it. I think we're talking closed roads for future events and town centre stages. That would be very exciting indeed, wouldn't it? Seriously though, if you do get a chance to come down tomorrow to Weston Park, the ticket information is all at historicrallyfestival.com. Or just search for Weston Park and it's on the events part of that website. It is well worth coming down. There's a load of family entertainment. There's loads of different food outlets, loads of different merchandise stalls. I have been raiding the piggy bank for the merchandise stalls, I'm not afraid to say. Some great merchandise here. And at really good prices as well. WRC merchandise, but not at WRC prices. And I think that's pretty cool. You know, the traders not taking advantage of the situation and getting into the spirit of things. And as a result, I've seen people wandering around all merched up. There's car shows, there's a load of fantastic display cars. There's actually one of the original, you remember the Seat Cupra, green Seat Cupra Ibithas? There's one of those on display. I haven't seen one of them for years. And there's some lovely Audi Quattros, a couple of Colin McRae tribute Ford Focuses. I love those. I actually was asked to sign one of them earlier, which was a nice touch. And there's quite a few other people who've been asked to do the same on that car, so it sports quite a few names you might recognise. I was more than happy to line mine up against those. And just some really nice chilled vibes in the family entertainment area, which is just behind where we're watching from at the minute on the show field. There's going to be loads of stuff lined up tomorrow as well, right through the day. The live rock and roll band was something else earlier. It just started to rain, and in typical British fashion, instead of hiding inside, everybody just grabbed a beer, grabbed a burger, and enjoy some live music. You know, the odd umbrella, but we can live with that. It's rally weather. It's almost October. Thank you to those of you who wished me happy birthday, by the way, for tomorrow. It is appreciated. It's, I'd say it possibly wasn't the best planning, doing a rally on my birthday, but actually, would you imagine me wanting to do anything else on my birthday? Nah. If you're just tuning in to Special Stage, welcome along. We are genuinely, as we always are, delighted to have you along. It's important because we do this and it takes a lot of effort and it takes a lot of budget from the organisers to be able to have this live coverage, and we do it for you. That you enjoy watching it. We get to keep doing it. There's a display of Peugeot through the ages there. There we go. A bit of pressure from the 106 GTI there of Brian and Jack Sherritt. And it was all too much for Nick Robertson, Lucy Robertson and Talbot Samba. Ironically, those two cars share so much equipment and mechanical oily bits, which, given they are, what, 20, 30 years apart, is quite remarkable. There's Russ and Wendy Mason, who have been chucking that Mark II around today. There are some drivers whose rally careers basically are demo only, and that's fine. It means we get to enjoy entertainment like this, but there are some drivers who normally do competitive events, come to a demo, and just, it's like they've been unhinged. Because they can chuck the cars around without fear of losing time, and I would say Russ and Wendy Mason firmly come into that latter bracket. David Turner, James Turner there. Last rally they did was the Dukeries in that Mark II. They didn't finish, but they were going well before their retirement. And there's Elliott Sharp with Liam Carfrae alongside. Those boys are used to rallying competitively in that MGZR. The last rally they did was the closed road round in Essex of Clacton. They were 8th in class, 39th overall. I'm blinded from the spotlights at the moment. I can't actually read my notes, and it's raining hard. So my notes are becoming more and more difficult to read, actually. Mark Butler, Paul Hode in the Mark II RS 2000 in that Welsh Road Rally prepared car, which has been going so well today. They rallied that car on the Carl Sorensen Memorial Rally last year. Again, it was a DNF recorded, but you know, they're out there and they're doing it. And here they are, entertaining the spectators at the historic Rally Festival. And there are a lot of spectators with us looking forward to this spectacle as the lights just start to come on and the sky just starts to dim here at Weston Park. And we are reminded of the history that has unfolded here over the decades. David Matthewson, Jack Matthewson alongside from the famous Bangers and Cash family in that Astra GSI. He used to rally in a Skoda Felicia. There's one of those. There's a Skoda Felicia kit car in the rally show behind me, which is a very smart bit of kit. That was Andy Bounce and Adam Dognini in the Lancia Fulvia 1600 HF. Proper Group 4 rally car that's been in the family from new. It's rallied all over Europe, that car. It's done a lot of rallying in Spain and in Italy. The Tours then hunting down that Hyundai Formula 2 of Andy Waldridge, which looks great with those spot lamps, those two center pod spot lamps on the Hyundai. Interestingly, the spot lamps are hanging off that big old bonnet on the Hyundai Coupe, and they just attach via bonnet pins or like spring catches on the underneath of the front bumper. It's quite an arrangement. When you lift the bonnet, those big old spot lamp unit is dangling off the edge of the spotlight like a couple of goofy teeth, for want of a more technical explanation. Apologies that we haven't got to many of your comments this evening. We'll try and do that now. Doug Small was enjoying the tours. He says, "Go, go, go!" in that little Corsa Super 1600. Oh. Chris Hetherington, Kevin Robinson being hounded. by that Sierra XR 4x4 V6 of Ross Clements and Chris Lear. Recreation of the car driven by Colin McRae on the 1989 Swedish Rally before Colin's Cosworth days. Matty Hammersley says 100% to my comment about rallying needing this. Rallying needs to get back into the wider public attention again, relive the days of the 80s, Lombard, RAC, etc. Completely agree. 2002 Production World Rally Championship winning Proton. I love the fact that in the 90s that manufacturers thought it was okay just to rebrand cars to suit their marketing purposes, and that is a perfect example, isn't it? The John Lay, Gareth Lay alongside in the, basically it was an Evo 6 Mitsubishi, but they branded it a Proton. The Proton Persona, I can't remember now. Miff Owen is jealous. He enjoyed the Agbo earlier this year, and it would be great in the dark here. Yep, agreed. Mark Brown, hopefully it's planning to come to Exeter Racecourse, because that was postponed. Not quite sure what we mean with that. Doug Small says, the tours are from Berwick and District Motor Club, just like Louise Aitken-Walker. She's the president of that motor club, and you can just see the commentary box as we flash, the cars flash past on your screen, and Louise is in there with Howard Davies, keeping nice and dry this evening. Unlike us, might swap around for the second stage, get Howard out here, and I'll go and sit in there with Louise and keep warm and dry. Angela Stelfox is looking forward to coming to the Historic Rally Festival tomorrow. All your details for tickets, if you haven't got them yet, there you go. There's Howard and Louise. Yeah, all your details for tickets are at historicrallyfestival.com. Wyn Matthias is watching from just outside Waterford in Ireland. Well done, team, braving the weather for us. Do you know, we love it. Especially when we get to see sights like that. Tim Sawyer, Group 4 Escort would have a BDA. Yeah, I said, all right, Tim. Just saying, yeah, I did say it was Group 4 spec, but there was a but in there. There's a couple of those, but we don't mind, do we? We're okay with that. Nigel Hepburn, Alan Wilson, with the spotlights bolted to that ex-Johnny Milner Escort Cosworth. It doesn't sound very well, though, does it? It sounds a little bit like it's dropped a cylinder. Tell you what, it's getting very difficult to juggle everything in this rain. Doesn't that BMW M3 sound incredible? Has done all day, hasn't it? It's just been, Steve Hartness has been chucking that thing around. Interestingly, I was talking to Steve about the RAC Rally earlier. We were talking about that, weren't we? Steve doing the tyres for that. He has ordered 750, or he's had orders for 750 tyres for the Roger Albert Clark, and that's not yet done. It's not a done deal just yet. Robert Whitehouse and Yvonne Mehta, the wife of the late WRC driver Sheikha Mehta, over here competing, or participating, I should say, in that yellow Lancia Delta, which is great. We love that. It's great to have Yvonne with us, and she's a real character. Listened to a couple of conversations, just eavesdropping earlier in the area. Saw Graham Capper and Chris White in there. Toyota GT4 Celica. Car's running a little bit out of order if you're looking at an entry list to see what's coming next, but there's Graham Brindley and David Evans in the Sierra Cosworth. There's an original colour scheme, that actually. Original colour scheme, the Castrol Cinetron X livery. Competed for something like 25 rallies in that colour scheme. There's Jason Lepley, Susanna Lepley alongside. They've been enjoying themselves today, adding a bit of Western Park grime to that Track Rod Rally Yorkshire mud from last weekend's penultimate round of the MRF Tyres BTRDA Rally Championship. You can still watch the coverage of that back on the special stage, social media. Tim Sawyer, Proton Pert, yeah, it was the Pert, wasn't it? But I seem to remember that there was a Persona as well. Just talking about that 2002 World Rally Championship winning production car. Yeah, the Let Please have been throwing that car around all day. And I do like the way that Subaru Impreza sounds. Phil Owen, Lucy Owen alongside. It was an imported road car, and they've built that over the years into a replica McRae rally car. And you know what, done a really good job. It's not full Group A spec by any stretch of the imagination, but it doesn't half sound like it. Really, really good. Colin Road Jones is looking forward to coming tomorrow. Can you please make the rain stop by then? Actually, the rain has sort of stopped a little bit now. I've braved it without the umbrella, which means I've got one less thing to juggle. Jason Taylor, oh my God, OMG, all my childhood dream rally cars in one place. I know that's how I felt earlier. Oh, it's like the 90s of that. Rob Dennis, Caroline Chapman, followed by, in that legacy, followed by Steve Chamberlain and Tom Hutchins. Hard on the brakes, fire spitting out the back of that Group A spec Mitsubishi Evo 6. Look at it, backfiring. Like a 90s World Rally car cannon. Or early 2000s rally car cannon, anyway. Listen to that. I hope you can hear the overrun in the distance when you're seeing cars coming into view, because there's something about that anti-lag that I'm going to be dreaming about for days to come. That Bastos liveried Mike Taylor Developments Escort Cosworth doesn't half look good, doesn't it? I can still hear in the distance Steve Chamberlain and Tom Hutchins in that Evo 6, the anti-lag, just echoing over this stately home rally stage, which featured so prominently in classic years of the Lombard RAC rally. Here's the gaffer. This is the man who had the vision to put the historic rally festival together, along with some of his fellow rally drivers and iconic rally car owners. Warner Lewis, fire spitting out of the back of that Toyota Celica GT4, making me feel like a 7-year-old kid, again, stood at Tatton Park, watching these cars when they were in Works' hands and running in the World Rally Championship, and that is what it is all about. That's what we're bringing to life here at the Historic Rally Festival. The ex-Francois Delacour Ford Sierra Sapphire Cosworth, just doing a bit of an accidental donut, but styling it out, so we can go with that, can't we, for the spectators here. And they've been really enjoying themselves. It's good to have that back out, because it did stop running early. There was an issue with the car, but it's back out, which is great. There's Mike Smith, Dave Anchem. And they're followed by Graham and Connor Sturrock in the more modern N10 Impreza WRX STI. It's amazing to think, isn't it, that Francois Delacour used to drive that Sierra Cosworth, and here it is, entertaining you and us on a classic Lombard RAC rally stage. If you haven't been tuned in today so far, this is your first time, then you've got a treat in store, because 1984 World Rally Champion Stig Blomqvist has been reunited with an A2 Group B Audi Quattro, lovingly and painstakingly rebuilt and prepared for this event for him by Hansport, John Hanlon and his really passionate team of Group B Audi experts. And you're going to see Stig through in that A2 Quattro, like the one that he won the 1983 RAC when it came here to Weston Park, and he battled with Michel Mouton. The pair of them in works Audis here on this very stage that we're looking at right now. Spine-tingling stuff, as is the bark, the raucous bark of that Vauxhall Chevrolet Forenza Can-Am rally car with its screaming V8. Mick Strafford getting it pointing in all manner of directions with its spot lamps bolted up front. Driven by Jimmy McRae, driven by Stig Blomqvist, who we just mentioned. And always, always driven very sideways. Dan Elmore, Ian Duncan, with red LED lights matching the car's livery on those wheels. Those huge commemorative wheels on that Metro 6R4 that I'll be taking part in tomorrow's second staging, and the first there of our Audi Quattros. Don Booth, a man I know really well and who has really enjoyed himself this weekend. I was chatting to him earlier. He was looking forward to getting out in the dark. Loves the atmosphere on the night stages. Dom came and filmed with me at Cadwell Park when we did one of our Transformers films. I don't know if you ever saw that. It's very cool. Have a look on the Cadwell Park YouTube. It'll still be on there. And Dom throwing that Audi around. It started as an original UR Quattro and has been built into that Group B monster that you see there. Charlie Oldham, the sounds and smells of fuel and hot brakes in old cars of the Cosworths popping and banging brings back some fantastic memories. There's nothing else like it. You know what? There's nothing else like it. You are right on that one, my friend. There's Craig Pennington, who didn't much like the rule change that stopped him from using his Proto Polo WRC on UK rally events, so went over to Europe, but now has that Rally GT Porsche 997 and has brought it out here to entertain us, and it's good to have him back. Very good to have him out. Tim Sawyer with all the knowledge. I can tell this is your era, Tim. You think the Persona was before the Pert? I think you're right. Persona Evo 3 based. Hello to Jeff Wakefield, Saban Sezginov. And hello to you, wherever you're watching from, if you're tuned into this live coverage on Special Stage. The rain now coming down hard at Weston Park, making the stage really very slippery. But that's why you want to be in an Audi Quattro. Just like that one, wouldn't you? So, Andrew Trainer, Tanya Short, and there's Robin Hamilton, Vanessa Hamilton alongside, enjoying themselves in that MG Metro 6L4. And I'm enjoying seeing a couple of Group B 6L4s out as well. Hello to Bill Bates, who's tuned in as a Clan Crusader out here in action. Bill, you'll want to see that through. Former Clan rally driver himself, Bill Bates. His daughter Carrie is off and out as well on UK rounds at the various championships that we cover, as well as Bill still out competing. Neil Howbridge joining us as well. Hello to Neil, tuned in just in time to see our 1984 World Rally champion Stig Blomqvist through the stage, reunited with an Audi Quattro A2, like the one that he won 40 years ago, won the Lombard RAC rally with, having taken victory on this stage against Michel Mouton, also in an A2 in that works car, by 1 second here at Weston Park. Always think of, I said earlier, Hannu Mikkola in that white Audi Sport headband in the really dusty 83 Safari Rally when I think of an A2 Quattro. Stig won so many events in the A2. And there's the last of our, no, it's not the last, is it? There's just another one of our Group B Audi Quattros there. Adam Marsden, Gary Johnston. And there's the car spitting flames out the back that I promised you. David Kedward, Tony Hart in the Peugeot 205 T16. I had a look at that car in the service area. Remarkable engine layout. The engine is offset. I knew that, but until you see one, you can't get your head around just how much of an engineering feat it would have been to get the balance right with that engine so offset inside that car. Yeah, just fantastic to see Stig out. He won the, what did he win? The 84 Acropolis, the 84 Myra Rally, the 83 Lombard, as I just mentioned, RAC, 83 Ulster, the 84 Swedish Rally, and then they switched. Oh no, he won the 84 Acropolis and New Zealand before they switched to the S1 Quattro that we'll see shortly. He came second on Argentina, Thousand Lakes, Monte Carlo, 83 and 84 before switching to the S1 Quattro. The A2 dropped the engine displacement and allowed the car to go into the 2.5 litre to 3 litre class. The first A1 Quattro that we've got a couple of out, or at least one, haven't we? No, two. That ended up in the 3 litre and above class, meaning that it couldn't have the lightweight body panels. So the A2 was the first of the real monsters that led to the E2 evolution. There's Nigel Mummery in his RS200 being chased down by, as he has been all day, that Carlos Sainz replica Repsol Escort Cosworth in its Escort WRC trim. Absolute scenes here at Weston Park, the scene of some epic World Rally Championship battles decades ago, and the scene now of some of that magic returning thanks to the historic Rally Festival. If you're just tuning in, we've got some of the most iconic rally cars driven by some really talented and, in some cases, very famous drivers out here, retelling a story which unfolded many, many years ago. There's Andy Creeks, Dave Nicholson in that Quattro S1 that I talked about. With the introduction of the 205 T16, Group B had become something of an arms race, and the A2 Quattro just didn't cut it anymore. They needed something even lighter, even faster, and they brought that really dancey S1 Quattro out, but it needed more aero, and there came the E2, the Audi Quattro that you think about with all the big wings on. Not dissimilar to today's WRC cars, it has to be said, both in concept, format, and, well, in spirit, I'd say. Adam Croughton, Perry Chatwin in the Vauxhall Astra GSI did compete in several Network QRAC rallies. It was built in 1993 as a college project, believe it or not, and is back in its lookers. Mobile One Vauxhall Works colours, and looks resplendent at that. Richard Barrow, Courtney Barrow alongside there in the Impreza N14. It's just anti-lag everywhere. It's like surround sound. That Winfield Mitsubishi has been the talk of the service area. Apparently it did a hill climb at Chelsea Walsh a little while ago. It was really quiet, and somebody had commented that it was really quiet, and so, well, it obviously, if you've got a 90s Group A rally car and someone says it's too quiet, what do? Well, you make it louder, don't you? And that is exactly what Lee Kedward has done. Mark Newman alongside him this weekend at the historic Rally Festival. It's originally built a Group N spec. It had a really big role on Rally GB. Didn't end well, but then it got rebuilt into a Group A spec monster that you see in front of you, and it's back in the Winfield colours. A rare case of the accident actually doing the car some good in a way. Came back from the ashes as a Group A car, as you do. Stuart McLaren, Harriet Worth in the Opel Kadett, the Group 2 GTE car that we saw on Track Road Rally Yorkshire. Don't forget, if you do want to do the Roger Albert Clark Rally, then Stuart is your man. He's after a co-driver after his pulled out, needs a bit of a contribution towards the entry, but it could be a really good opportunity to do that rally. There is the Thousand Lakes Rally Finland winning Mark and Escort Fev 5H. Hannu Mikkola, Gunnar Palm. He also won the Circuit of Ireland with Roger Clark and Jim Porter. The East African Safari, again with Roger Clark
And what else did it do? Oh, Peart and Todd did the Austrian Alpine and came third in that car. What a car, what a history that has. Steve Ward adding another little bit of history, bringing it out to entertain us here at the historic Rally Festival. Proper works car with big works history. And there's the Cyclops Corsa Super 1600 kit car of Dan Davis, Jordan Robertson, with just the one spot lamp in that lamp pod working. I'm not sure if that's by design or we've lost a connection along the way. I know Warner Lewis was struggling. Most of these cars don't have the spot lamps on very often, so you plug them in, you bolt them on, and then you find that the electrics don't work, or your battery or your alternator aren't up to the job, and they do take a huge amount of power. Remember when my ex-Simon Major Ford KA, funnily enough, Dick Major's coming through the stage now in that D-Mac ex-Elvin Evans car, isn't he, as I mentioned, his son Simon. But yeah, I remember putting the spot lamp pod on that, and wow, it was like it gone on to 3 cylinders. It took that much power to light up the lamp pod. There is the D-Mac car, the Fiesta R5, driven by Elvin Evans, who this weekend is in Chile, and he isn't doing too bad. It wasn't last time I looked. Hope I haven't given him a presenter's curse there. Colin Anderson says, thought the S1 Quattro was the one with the wings. Well, the S1 Quattro was the one you saw, the short wheelbase car coming through. The E2, the Evolution, was the one with the big wings. But yeah, it technically is still an S1, just it was an evolution of that. So, I mean, the comment from Ecotech about the person on the camera, it's very, very hard when you're following a trail of lights, and that person on the camera is one of the most experienced rally cameramen, who's smiling now, Riley, in the UK, Wayne Goldring. So don't worry too much about the camera work. We're in safe hands with that, ladies and gentlemen. So that's it for the first of our night stages. As you can see, we're going to have fully fledged night stage coming up for you for the 6th stage, which will be the last stage of today here at Weston Park. We're going to move to the hairpins, and we're going to get those spotlights dancing around in the dark here at Weston Park. Do stick around. We'll be live again in just a few minutes here on Special Stage from the historic Rally Festival.